Go up here. Somebody can bring that. Where did that little thing go? Madhyanthamandasya Gyananjalushalakaya Chakshunmlitam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopisam Stavidam Yena Bhuttale Swayam Rupakaramayam Darabdi Swavrantikam Namah Vishnupada Krishna Vista Bhuttale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nifti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Guruvani Prachayane Vishesha Shunyavadi Pashatari Satarine Vanshakapa Durvasha Kripa Sinvevacha Paditanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Bhavanityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Guru Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So to begin with, I'd like to express my joy and great honor I feel that I'm allowed to be here, and also that I have the opportunity to share a few thoughts on this auspicious day of Ekadashi and beginning of Julan Yatra and the first day of our festival here. Thank you very much. And I'm also humbly asking for the blessings, especially of the senior devotees and all assembled devotees, so that I may say something which is of some little use and inspiration. So today we are having a topic-related Bhagavatam class, so it's not the usual verse. And I believe, I hope, this topic is very relevant for everyone. And in one sense we can also connect it with Balaram's appearance, because Balaram gives us that strength, that determination to uproot all kinds of anatas. Some are uprooted by Balaram himself, some by Krishna. So I believe this one is more uprooted by Krishna, or maybe even by Lord Nrsimhadev. But nevertheless, it's good to get Balaram's mercy, so we can really call out to Lord Nrsimhadev. So the topic I would like to discuss with you is the topic of envy. How envy manifests in our relationships. And we realize how envy is actually the main obstruction in all our relationships. Towards seniors, towards equals, towards juniors. And let me mention this up front. This discussion is not meant to detect the envy in others, but it is meant to detect the envy in our heart. If we use this discussion to point the fingers at others, what does that indicate? Huh? That we are envious, exactly. So let us not allow our envy to manifest in such a gross form. So, because especially when we discuss envy manifesting towards juniors, very easily the contaminated mind says, oh, just see, I always knew. My seniors are actually envious, and that's why they're behaving like this towards me. So yes, please don't let us not go that way, because then we will commit Vaishnava aparat. There is a humorous thing in one word-for-word translation in the 5th canto, where it says, what does it say? Kalaha, in bracket, and then meaning the envious, and then Prabhupada puts in brackets, almost everyone. Prabhupada has a special sense of humor making the point. Almost everyone, because envy is a pretty nasty quality, and we like to keep ourselves in this illusion that we, of course, don't have that. Only everybody else is envious, especially of me, but I, of course, don't have that. So I guess that's why Prabhupada says almost everyone, which may very well, most likely, includes ourselves too. Right? Why should we be the big exception who is not envious? So to begin with, let us understand how this envy actually comes about. So as soon as we strive for sense gratification, there will be envy coming along. Yes, because then we will always have the feeling, or maybe others are enjoying more than I do, or not only that, we try to establish our superiority in all relationships. Yes, because we want to be the supreme, and even if we are in a senior position, nevertheless, towards juniors, we also want to make clear that, yes, I am superior. Yes, and we enjoy that subtle gratification for the false ego that we are supreme and superior and so on. So that's how it comes about. As soon as we strive for sense gratification, envy automatically will be there. So that's why in the material world almost everyone is envious, because as we know, we are here because we want to enjoy. That's the reason why we are here. So naturally, then there will be envy. So they always go hand in hand. Yeah, so is that verse 4:834, is that written on there? Okay, good. So that's the verse I wanted to discuss. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gunadikam mudam lipset. Anukrosham gunadamas. Maitrim samanad anvichen. Natape abhibhuyate. Somebody wants to chant. Gunadikam mudam lipset. Anukrosham gunadamas. Maitim samanat anvichen. Natapaya abhibhuyate. Ladies, to make it short. Gunadikan mudam lipset. Anukrosham gunadamas. Maitrim samanat anvichen. Natape abhibhuyate. Just to save a little bit of time, I will move on to the translation with your permission. So, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Every man, and here man meaning human, not man in contrast to woman. Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. So that is already a quite amazing statement, that if we just learn how to act perfectly in a non-envious way, we will never be affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. Wow, amazing. So let us turn to the purport. Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activities. These are the causes of all material tribulations. So one more time, the statement is there that this envious behavior is what causes most of our miseries. The great sage Narada therefore advised that a devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be jolly to receive him. Instead of being oppressive to a less qualified man, one should be compassionate towards him, just to raise him to the proper standard. And when one meets an equal, instead of being proud of one's own activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. Now the last sentence is very often, Prabhupada one more time, hitting the nail on the head. These important functions will make one happy within this material world. So a third time, the statement is there that if we learn to act in a non-envious way, we can be happy, even in this material world, even here in France. One can be happy. Yes, so one thing, Prabhupada, the way he uses this word envious, he uses it towards seniors, towards people who have something which we don't have. And this is usually the general way how we use it. But I like to see envy as a certain state of heart. It's a certain consciousness, a state of heart, which actually comes out in all relationships. Towards seniors, towards equals, towards juniors, even towards children. Yes, even though obviously one should be envious towards a child. He doesn't or she doesn't have anything that we don't have or something. So yes, but it is a state of heart which comes out in all relationships. And let us now go through these relationships towards seniors, towards juniors, towards equals, and let us collect one more time the different aspects of the envious behavior and then the non-envious behavior. And let me warn you a little bit, some people find this almost, of course, I'm not giving this presentation the first time. I like to discuss this in many places. And sometimes people say to me, wow, that was a heart surgery. I realize it's all about me. I've got it all. Towards seniors equals juniors. Oh my God, I have to do something about this. So yes, be ready for a little heart surgery. But see, envy is so subtle that very easily we can miss it. The last couple of days we had a little seminar on the false ego. So false ego, envy, they're good friends. They like to move around together, and both are just so subtle. I guess false ego is first there, you know, and then the envy is like a secondary manifestation of the false ego. Yes, so that's why I like to bring attention to these topics, because they're so subtle, and unless we hear about them, the hearing is always the first step to awakening, you know, that we become conscious of these things. Because Prabhupada was often saying, before becoming Krishna conscious, we have to become conscious first. And we are just so unconscious so often, you know, just floating through our day and our life in an unconscious state. And then we don't even, you know, perceive these subtleties in our hearts. And we may even maintain these envious or false ego patterns of behaviors. And then we commit the 10th offense to chanting the holy name, to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. So this offense is not only directed towards the gross attachments to sense gratification, but the most subtle ones are also there, right? And unless we are trapped in these patterns of behaviors, we actually cannot receive the blessings, the benefit of the chanting of the holy name. We're missing out. Yes. And then we may be surprised that after 30, 40 years of chanting, nothing much has changed. I still have the same attachments, material desires, and we may get doubtful. Maybe this chanting doesn't even work. No, it works. But we have to do some internal work also. These things don't disappear just automatically by time going by. No, we have to do some internal work, reflecting, introspecting, crying out to Krishna, and you know, yeah. So let us begin with the relationships towards seniors. When we are envious, let us remember what Prabhupada said. When we are non-envious, how do we receive a senior person? When we are non-envious,
we are happy.
Yes, we are happy, we are jolly. So, when we are envious, we are not so happy. We think, oh no, this person is here. Oh, okay. Let's hope he doesn't stay for too long. You know, and we may go up to him and ask, oh, nice to see you, Prabhu. How long are you staying? With some plastic smile. Oh, 3 days. Oh, good, nice. You know, and deep in the heart we think, oh, thank God, after 3 days he's gone. And then I have the scene here to myself. Then I can be the center of attraction here and attention. You know? Yeah, so that's how the envy comes about. And what else do we do? Let us, I mean, here we are at the beginning of a festival. So let us imagine, senior person comes, we are envious. What do we do?
We serve them.
Envious.
Oh, if we
can avoid them.
Exactly, we avoid them, we ignore them. Right? We don't give them any attention. Oh, he's nobody, he's nothing, not worth even saying Hare Krishna to or something. Right? We look the other way, don't see him. Yes. And there's something stronger than that, what we do. Yes.
You can save the person.
Envious, you are ahead of us. We are at the envious behavior. We don't want to serve the person when we are envious. We should maybe, but we don't.
But we can conquer this when we will serve the person.
What do we do when we are envious?
criticize.
We criticize, we find fault. Oh, we are pretty good at that. You know? Yes. We find something. Why do we do this? in order to reduce that person's importance and to establish ourselves in a superior position. Let us imagine a senior person is leading a kirtan, and then a friend of ours says to us, "Oh, that was a nice kirtan, wasn't it?" And then we say, "Yeah, it was all right, but..." And we find something to reduce. Somebody is really turning the volume down here. It means I have to put more pressure on the voice. Was it too loud before?
No.
No, so why is somebody playing around there?
He doesn't understand English.
He doesn't understand English. Can you tell him in French to leave it as it was?
Laissez le volume comme il était.
The translation, they can't hear the translation.
Oh, okay, all right, I'll tolerate, no problem. Yeah, an old woman's voice is, yeah, but it's a, you know, I feel I have to put more pressure on, because your voice is your weapon as a preacher, and you have to know how to project your voice to reach the people's hearts, and a little bit of strength is helpful, but I'll manage, no problem. Yeah, so we find faults, you know. Yes, yeah, Kirtan was all right, but I didn't like the melody. And also, let's be clear, his Madanga playing was not that fantastic. You know, so we find something to reduce his importance. Now the amazing thing is, even if it is true that the tune was not so nice, and his Madanga playing really needs some improvement, even if it is true, just the fact that we feel this urge to make the statement, if we look in our hearts, it is envy. Yes. Even if it is true. And very easily we may say, well, I'm just sharing with a friend my kirtan experience. What's wrong with that? It's the truth. You know, aren't we allowed to speak the truth? We are in France here, freedom of speech. What is this? Can't I say the truth? It is true. But no, just the fact that we have this desire to make the statement indicates that there is envy. Something which we usually don't realize. You know, in the name of speaking the truth, and I'm just sharing, we make these statements, but actually there's envy there. And that's why it's so subtle that we easily miss it. Yes. And our previous Acharya Sridhar Swami, he also makes this point. He says, whether it's true or not, speaking about the faults of a Vaishnava means blaspheming him. Wow. I mean, you know, how often do we do this? You know, and we think it's normal, it's okay, it's true, you know. Yes, but actually then we commit the first offense to chanting the holy name, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives to propagating the holy name of the Lord. You know, so yeah, no wonder that we are not making as quickly advancement as we could be, because we're making these offenses. So let us move on to the non-envious behavior towards seniors. We mentioned already what Prabhupada mentioned. We are pleased to receive him. We are jolly, receiving him in a jolly mood. So, and how else do we associate with a senior if we are non-envious? Now you can come. We serve them. And what else?
Inquire.
We inquire from them. Tadvidi panipadena pariprasnena sevana. Sevaya. So this is not only towards Guru, it's actually towards every senior devotee. This is how we take advantage of the presence of a senior person. That we are eager to serve and we are eager to hear and inquire. And these two principles of hearing and serving, they actually enhance each other. Like the humble mood of service puts us in the right frame of mind to hear from the person. And then the more we hear, the more we feel inspired to serve. And the more we serve, the more we feel inspired to hear. So this hearing and serving, they enhance each other. They're very important principles of making spiritual progress. And that's how we squeeze some nectar out of a senior person. You know, Sadhu has so many secrets, but he will only share them if there is some eagerness there from our part, that we're eager to ask some relevant questions. We want to hear. We want to capture something that's useful for us, for our spiritual development. Maybe you also noticed that these days people love to talk about themselves. You know? Oh, people can go on forever talking about themselves, what they've all been doing and big achievements and to do that in the presence of a senior is really inappropriate. You know? Unless that senior person asks us, oh, what are you doing? You know, and what work are you doing? What service are you doing? So then we can humbly share. But just to go on and on about ourselves, it easily has this mood of boasting, showing off how great we are and how fantastic and what great things we do and all this. So, not the way to associate with seniors. Yeah. So let us move on to the relationship with the juniors. First, the envious way. How do we behave towards a junior or less experienced person when we are envious?
We don't share knowledge with him.
We don't share knowledge, yes. Not to uplift him too much. We may have the mood of, okay, yes, I'm your well-wisher, you can advance, but definitely not higher than I am. So I am always up here and you will always stay down there, right? And we may even feel threatened when a person, you know, is coming up and may be better in things than we are. And we want to keep him down. Yes. Actually, sometimes we can observe this when we delegate a task to somebody else. You know, when we are in a senior position and we delegate a task to a junior, good delegation means we follow up, right? We ask, so how are you doing? You need some help, you need some manpower, you need some money, you need some good advice, you know? That's the mood of delegating if we want the person to be successful. But when we are envious, we have this mood that we say, okay, either you do it or I do it. And if you want to do it, okay, good luck, you do it. And we don't follow up. You know? And maybe deep in our heart we hope that maybe he will not be so successful. And then we can say, oh, just see, I knew you can't do it, but you wanted to do it, so there you go. I knew I should have done it myself, but you wanted to do it. You know? Instead of helping him, you know? Yes, yeah, this is envy. Yeah, yes. Good delegation means we want him to be more successful than I would have been if I had done it. You know, that's the non-envious mood of delegating. You know? Yeah. Something to remember. So what else do we do towards a junior if we are envious?
Patronizing.
Patronizing, yes. Ooh, you know.
The word used is deride. We deride.
Yes, we deride him, we are oppressive, we talk down on him, condescending, how we say in English, you know. And yes, we put him down. Sometimes we may crack a joke on his expense and have a good laugh, so he looks like a dumb fool in the presence of others. Yeah, these things. Yes. Or we are very impatient. Oh God, you know, I can't work with this guy. He's just useless. You know, I am so busy. I have no time for you. You know, I'm so important, and who are you? You're nobody. I have no time for you. And. So these are all things which may indicate that we are envious. And here we are. Please don't go that way that you think, oh yeah, my authority is treating me like this, so they must be envious. So no, when we treat people like this, then we may be envious, you know. And there is one more thing, that when we constantly and overly harshly correct and instruct a person, that may fall into patronizing too. You know, when we overly harshly put the person down and correct and I'll see you again and you know. So this may very well indicate that we have some envy in the heart there. That's why we lash out on him. And these things can even manifest towards children also. You know? Sometimes when I travel, I see this at the airport or in the supermarket or whatever, that a mother, you know, heavily lashes out on the child, you know, and screams and yells. She may have been the whole day at work and heart is full of frustration and anger and envy and then the child cops it, you know, and people scream at their small children and they can't even understand what's going on, and terrible, you know. So yeah, we have to be very careful, you know, that we don't use this superior position and enjoy our superiority by putting the other person even more down than they are already. They're already inferior and subordinate. So no need to, you know, enjoy that by lashing out and putting them down and all that kind of thing, you know. So what's the non-envious way?
Encouragement.
Encouragement. What does Prabhupada say?
Compassion.
Compassion, yes. We genuinely, you know, reach out with genuine concern and compassion. Reach out affectionately, wanting to uplift people and make them more successful than we are. That's non-envy, you know, yes. Actually, a non-envious person can really connect with each and everyone for their upliftment. Prabhupada was the perfect example of this. Prabhupada could connect as a well-wishing friend with anybody, whether it's a small child or a hippie or a drunkard on the park bench or a scientist or a Christian priest, or no matter who the person was, he knew exactly how to connect with this person for their ultimate benefit. And sometimes Prabhupada was so heavy, you know, chastising people, calling them fools and rascals. But because it came from a non-envious heart, people could feel that. And as a rule, they didn't mind. They didn't get offended. Because they knew, they could sense. That's the power of consciousness. Consciousness actually travels on sound vibration. So even if a person chastises, but if it is in a well-wishing, concerning, compassionate mood, then the person can feel that and they don't mind, you know. But we cannot imitate this. Sometimes we may talk about the karmis, you know, in a down-putting way, all these mudhas, you know, going to work so early, oh thank God I'm not one of those, you know. So we may say these things with pride and a bit of arrogance there. But yeah, so we cannot imitate Prabhupada and use these same heavy words because our heart is not non-envious. You know? Yes. So we have to be very careful. So let's move on to the last type of relationship. Relationship with equals. What's the envious way of relating to equals? Who can remember what Prabhupada said?
Competition.
Competition, Prabhupada didn't say that, but it is competition. And what did Prabhupada say?
We show our own accomplishments.
Yes, we are proud of our own achievements, exactly. And we compete, you know. As soon as envy, sense gratification is there, there's envy. As soon as envy is there, there's competition there. Right? They belong together. Inseparable. So yes, there is this competition there. In other words, the mood is, okay, we are equal, but actually I'm superior. And I'm going to prove you that I'm superior. Yes, so let us just imagine an everyday scenario in a temple. Let us imagine two traveling preachers who are not so mature yet. They meet. So in the name of sharing, I'm just sharing with my friend. You know, this conversation can go on. That one says to the other, oh, guess what? You know, I was attending the Rath Yatra in New York and they asked me to lead. You want to have a look? YouTube. Here, I show you. I was leading for 45 minutes. My God. And then we arrived at the final Pandal tent and I couldn't believe it. They asked me to give the main speech. You want to see YouTube? Here it is. I will send you the link. You can watch it. You know? And then I went to the Rath Yatra in LA, Los Angeles, and same thing happened again. Again, I was leading the kirtan and I was giving the speech and. So like that we go on and on and on and on. And then finally we say, and what about you, Prabhu? What have you been up to? And by then the other person, oh my God, I'm nothing, I'm nobody, you are so great, who am I? You know, you won the competition. Not worth talking about what I've been doing, you know. Yes. Yeah, these things are going on, all in the name of, I'm just sharing with my friend, what's wrong with that? But, yeah, so subtle, you know, that we want to boast, we want to impress that person. I'm so fantastic, you know, I'm great, and much greater than you are, even though we are equal, yeah, all right. Yeah, so that's the behavior when we are envious towards equals. So now what is the behavior when we are non-envious?
Happy to share.
Friendship.
Friendship, yes, Prabhupada says friendship, even though friendship we can also have with seniors, at least to some extent, and definitely also towards juniors. So what is the special thing amongst equals when they are non-envious? That this friendship is very special. There's cooperation there, yes, but it is much more than that. I mean, even with seniors, juniors, we should cooperate. But
intimacy.
Yeah, there is a special intimacy there. There is also a kind of competition there. But what does this competition look like? Very different than the other one.
They're appreciating others more than...
Yes, so they're appreciating others, and what do?
Glorify themselves.
They glorify, serve. Yes, they push each other forward. Yes. There's, out of Vaishnava humility, You know, they feel, oh, actually you are more experienced, you are more empowered. You give the class, you lead the kirtan. I want to hear from you. I want to join your kirtan. You know, yes. So they push each other forward rather than pushing themselves forward. That's the envious behavior. And the non-envious competition, this pushing each other forward, that's exactly what's going on in the spiritual world. Yes. Because Prabhupada, there's nice descriptions in the Bhagavatam, Vaikuntha atmosphere. Because there the residents, they have no tinge of desire for sense gratification. And therefore there's no envy there. In fact, Prabhupada also gave this vision to us, that ISKCON is meant to create an exemplary society wherein there is no envy. There's a purport in the Bhagavatam somewhere. You know, so here, New Mayapur, it's a nice vision statement, you know, for any community, to actually create a society wherein there is no envy. But to be able to do that, the price to pay is to uproot this desire for sense gratification, you know. So yeah, in the spiritual world it is described that the gopis, manjaris, they're more blissful pushing each other towards Krishna and help and assist them to make all kinds of arrangements to give the Lord the most pleasing joy and so on, and satisfaction. So that gives more pleasure than being there up front ourselves. Wow, this may still be pretty foreign to us, you know. Well, we have Ranaswami coming, so we can apply the same principle towards Guru, you know. Non-envious behavior is if we feel more pleasure and joy seeing other disciples, you know, getting his mercy, pleasing him, serving him, and than being there in the front ourselves. But usually, you know, we want to be up front ourselves. We want to be noticed. The Guru sees, I cooked this lunch and, you know. Yeah. So, yes, we've still got a bit of work to do to get to Goloka Vrindavan. If we want to enter there one day, we have to cultivate that mood of non-envious behavior, definitely. Yeah. Yes. Yes, so, and not only do equals who are non-envious push each other forward, but they also inquire from each other because they see the other person as more experienced, right? So there's a very intimate inquiry and sharing going on, very confidential. That, for example, one says to the other, Prabhu, you've been a brahmachari for 35 years. How do you do it? What's your secret? Tell me. And then the other one says, Prabhu, and you've been married for 35 years. My God, what's your secret? How do you do it? Wife, kids, and you still go out to distribute books and you make donations and you have a job as well. My God, how do you do it? How do you tolerate? So like that, they share very intimately, you know, their secrets. Such kind of sharing and intimate inquiry you cannot really do towards seniors. You have to be very careful. You don't want to, you know, intrude into their spiritual life or something. You have to be very humble and careful. And towards juniors, no, you know, it also doesn't work, you know, like that. So yes, but on the equal platform, that's a special thing amongst equals who are non-envious, that they can relish that kind of intimate, confidential friendship. But the price to pay is to be non-envious. You know? So now my question to you, which relationship is most purifying? towards seniors, towards equals, towards juniors. What do you think? Huh? What? Which relationship is most purifying for us? Towards equals, towards seniors, towards juniors.
Seniors. All of them.
Well, let's say in the beginning stage of devotional life, we do get, of course, a lot of mercy and associating with seniors, but with equals. That's the most challenging and purifying relationship. Sharing our influence with somebody similarly influential. Yes, that's a challenge. Yes, because as we said, amongst equals, really we have to show where we stand, whether we are really humble servant, or whether we say, yeah, all right, we are equal, but actually I'm superior. That only comes out in the equal relationship. It's pretty easy to be the humble servant towards the top, and we can always have this hope that some of his glory spills over to me, that we say, oh look, I'm always next to Guru. I'm in the picture everywhere, in every video. It's me next to him. So, he is so special and I'm the next most special. I'm always next to him. And towards junior, also pretty easy to surround yourself with juniors, and they're always sitting at my feet looking up to me. And yes, I'm their humble servant. Pretty easy. But association with equals, that's when the most pinching and biting envy from the most hidden corners of the heart come to the surface. Yes. Yes. We may have that experience. Yes, we have a few gurus coming. So, two equally expert cooks cooking lunch for Guru Maharaj. Ooh, this can be intense, right? Because immediately the competition comes in. Who knows better what Guru Maharaj likes? No, he doesn't like that, he can't eat that. Don't you know his diet has changed? No, he told me, and last week he loved it. And the whole thing, a whole discussion. If it's one expert and an assistant, no problem. But two experts? Oh, can be intense. I've seen devotees stealing each other's pots, stealing each other's bhoga, definitely never ever sharing a recipe. It's my recipe and only I know how to cook it, and you definitely should not get it. Oh my God. Yeah. So this is the difficulty of equal association. Yes. And actually, since His Holiness Radha Swami is coming, he has a formula for association. I believe it's not a Shastric one because I never found it anywhere in Prabhupada's books. I think he came up with it maybe himself. Somebody could ask him if you like. I never asked him. So I think he came up with it himself just to impress this point, how important equal association is. He says out of 100% of association, 60 should be spent, 60% should be spent with equals. 60%. Wow. While we are young devotees, it may be very natural, but as we become so-called senior, we don't usually have 60% equal association, right? No, we don't. And 20% should be spent with juniors. Oh my God, as a preacher, you're so often surrounded with juniors, especially in some areas where there may not even be much senior devotees. And only 20% with the top, but 60 with equals. Yes, because that is just so immensely purifying. Yes. In the Shastra, we have this nice example with Prithu Maharaj and Indra, right? Prithu Maharaj wanted to do the 100th horse sacrifice. While he had done 99, Indra 100, no problem. But then as soon as he wanted to do the 100th, Indra felt threatened. And what did he do? Stole the horse. It's just like stealing the burger in the kitchen, so the yajna can't go on. Same thing. So the stealing was going back and forwards until finally Lord Brahma appeared on the scene and settled the whole thing. Yes, but that's a very nice example for the difficulty of equal association. Also another one is when Lord Brahma wanted to go to Vaikuntha, and the gatekeepers ask him, which Brahma are you? And he gets all agitated. What do you mean? Well, don't you know I'm Lord Brahma? What is this question? So what is the Lord doing? He calls all the Lord Brahmas to appear on the scene, to give him a bit of equal association. Just to humble him a bit. So, and then there were Lord Brahmas with 10 heads, 100 heads. Oh my God, our Lord Brahma only has 4. So he looked like a small-time fella there, next to the Brahmas with 100 heads. Yeah, so, we sometimes also need this equal association, just to become a bit more humble again and not be the big Lord Brahma here in our community or something. This can easily happen. I guess that's why we established the ILS in Mayapur every 2 years, ISKCON Leadership Sangha. Anybody of you has attended this, ILS? Yeah, it's worth going, And the purpose behind this is exactly that, to give the leaders equal association, because often we avoid it and we like to be in our kingdom and our realm and have control and all this. So equal association we have to search for, we have to consciously take it. So we have no time for questions. It's up to you. Shall we take some questions? Just a couple, since it is a practical topic, Okay, Prabhu, you had your hand up for quite a while.
I don't know if I disagree with you on one thing, but
disagree with me?
Yeah.
I'm just talking from the Shastra, it's not what I think. But go ahead. Maybe you disagree with Prabhupada or with Radha.
I don't know if I disagree, but I feel that the most difficult thing, maybe for me, maybe for others too, is to accept authority even when they are wrong. That is difficult for us in the West, I think, more than other places. That you accept a senior or an authority, even if there are some faults, which there's always some faults. I think that's more difficult than the equal for me.
Yeah, I mean, this falls into the topic of respect. I have a whole presentation on that too, but not today, not here. But just before people leave, I do want to bring your attention to the fact that I, by Krishna's mercy, have published 5 books, and out there is a book table. And this topic of envy is also in one of the books. And there's a book about the false ego and so many interesting topics, which are all about the practical application of our philosophy. Just learning the philosophy is not enough. We have to educate ourselves how to actually live it. And we are not there yet. So, and in one of the books I also discuss this topic of respect. that especially here in the Western world, because I do preach a lot in India, Bangladesh and so on, in the Western world, respect is going down the drain. Interestingly, a culture of sense gratification has to be based on a culture of disrespect. Yeah, because to enjoy the senses means you use others for your gratification. And you will only do this if you are disrespecting them. You know? So our understanding of respect is very shallow. And very often we come across this, that exactly what you're saying, Prabhu. When a senior person has some fault, we say, I cannot respect this person. You know, he makes these and these blunders. How can I respect him? Right? And I was trying to analyze why we have this attitude. And guess what? It goes back to envy. Yes. Because when we are envious, then immediately when we see a fault in a person, we evaluate. Who is better? I am better. I don't have that fault. So therefore, I don't want to respect this person. How can I? Right? Yes, that's where this attitude comes from. So, but Vaishnav culture tells us we should respect every living entity, not even only every devotee, and not only perfect devotees, but every living entity, even non-devotees, even animals, plants, trees, every single entity, right? Yes. So, even if a senior person makes has some faults, makes mistakes, what gives me the right to disrespect this person? Super soul is in his heart. He's definitely dear to Krishna, to Prabhupada, the Guru. He's chanting Hare Krishna. You know, he is in the hospital. He wants to get healthy here. You know, he's in the bath, in the shower. So, what gives me the reason to disrespect him? I have no right. You know? Yes, yeah. So, but very commonly, this is the point. And it is actually, amazingly enough, it is connected with envy. You know, because we evaluate, oh, he's got that fault, I don't have that, so even though he's senior, why should I respect him? Why should I follow his instructions?
And then we think that he should be a Mahabhagavata. I think that's often an excuse not to surrender. We think the Guru should be so elevated that it's impossible, actually. You cannot find such a person.
Yes, yeah, very true. You know, we expect utopia that everybody... I actually once asked my Guru Maharaj, Niranjana Swami, I had 3 gurus, by the way. One of them is coming. My first guru was Bhavananda, second one, Prabhu Vishnu Prabhu. He used to be Swami. And third one is Niranjana Swami. But yeah, I'm full of gratitude towards Prabhu Vishnu Prabhu. He was the one who got me to Bangladesh, and if I hadn't preached there, I would have learned all these things. Yeah, so, but, what did I want to say? What was your point, Prabhu?
Then we think that the Guru should be so advanced.
Oh yes,
it's
I
impossible.
wanted to share what Niranjana Swami said to me. I once asked him, what do you do when you see shortcomings in very elevated persons? How do you deal with it? You know, because once you're a little longer around, you are more perceptive and you see all these things that you don't know how to deal with it. And he gave me a fantastic answer. He gave me 3 principles. Don't suppress it, meaning, let's be realistic, we are all in the wash. That's what he said, we are all in the wash. You can't expect, you know, even gurus to be 100% pure devotees. There's always something little they have to work on also. So don't suppress it, accept the fact that, yeah, these things are there and you are seeing them. You know, don't feel like, oh, you're just a fly in the stool who only sees this or whatever. And then second one, don't dwell on it. dwelling, you know? When you dwell on it, when you can't stop thinking about it, it shows that you have an issue, you have a problem, you are envious. You think, oh, this person shouldn't get all this recognition and maybe he shouldn't even be in the position, and after all he's got this problem and you know. So then we are dwelling on it, so don't dwell on it. And then the third one, don't broadcast it. You know, don't try and save others from this terrible person or whatever. Don't broadcast it. As long as the person does the job of uplifting others and inspiring them to chant Hare Krishna and follow the process of devotional service, he's doing his task, you know. And then as we become more uplifted, we will see maybe also that, oh, okay, let me move towards somebody else who can take me further or something. You know, so yes, don't suppress it, don't dwell on it, don't broadcast it, you know. And yeah, I think this is very helpful, you know. That's great.
When a person feels, you know, it's scary to find out when how envious one is actually, to discover how one is so envious actually, and when one have this actually realization that he is envious when he sees a senior devotee, and he even thinks that this devotee sees that he is envious and he is avoiding him, and he thinks, yes, my dirty face of I'm such an envious person that, you know, I understand he is avoiding me, you know. So then one may think, you know, how should I approach? I should rather not approach this person and, you know, dirtying with my dirty association, and then you avoid him, you know. So what would you answer to this? I mean, I have two questions in one maybe. The other part would be, because you said that if one approves desire for sense gratification, automatically envy will go,
Yes.
or rather when one has sense gratification desires, then is envious. So one may think, on my own, even instead of disturbing these devotees, I'm going to uproot my desires and work on my sense gratification desires, then I'll become pure, then I can approach them. So you see, it's one question two questions in one.
Yes. I do have 5 steps which I recommend for any kind of transformational work where we want to transform certain patterns of behaviors. Whether that's envy or false ego, it doesn't really matter. It's the same process. So I'll very quickly mention them and hope that this will answer your question. First step is always hearing about the topic. That's why I like to talk about them, just to, you know, make us aware, make us conscious that, oh, okay, I have it all. I have to do something about it. Otherwise, how can I go back to Goloka Vrindavan? So hearing is step number 1. Then step number 2 is desiring. I really have to do something about this. I can't just pretend forever that I don't have it and just sweep it under the carpet there or something. I have to do some internal work. So then step number 3 is, we are introspective and honest. We are reflecting. It almost has to become our second nature, that we are always reflecting, introspecting, what took place in this exchange now? Why do I have this bad feeling? How did I contribute to this situation? You know? Without this introspection and being honest to ourselves and others, we actually cannot make advancement. It's as simple as that. Then our practice will just be external. But internally, nothing will change. And at this 3rd step, that's where we usually need a mentor, a counselor, a coach. I've got a whole book out there on this topic. It's highly important, you know, because false ego blocks our ears, blocks our intelligence. We can't see. As long as we have material attachments and desires, we cannot objectively assess ourselves. We can't. We may think we're doing really fine, but others may have a different idea. You know, we can't see if our practice is balanced. So this topic of mentorship is of such big importance, and especially when we want to assess ourselves and, you know, and reflect. We need a mentor to help us. You know, a well-wishing friend who can say, hey, you know, this was a bit too over the top. You know, you overreacted a bit, just cool down, you know, and don't be so, you know, like this and that. So then step number 4, we catch ourselves doing the wrong thing. That's already progress, because at least we catch ourselves. Before we were doing for so many years and maybe lifetimes the wrong thing, and we thought it was fine. But now we realize, oh, here we go again. I had to make this nasty comment just to put the person down, and you know. So we catch ourselves doing the wrong thing. So now my question to you, what's the 5th step? After catching yourself doing the wrong thing, what's the next one? Repent. Yes, and what does that repentance lead to?
Apologize.
Huh?
Apologize.
Yeah, but that can be an external thing. We apologize and 10 minutes later we do it again. What do we do?
Find the correct behavior.
Crying for help.
Huh?
Crying for help of Krishna.
Yes, crying out to Krishna. Yes. Because these anattas, envy, thoughts, ego, they're so deep-rooted. We actually, by our own strength, we can't uproot them. You know? Yes. Lord Nrsingadev, very expert with his sharp nails to perform the heart surgery. So, and if we do these last 3 steps, we reflect, introspection and honesty, we catch ourselves doing the wrong thing, we cry out to Krishna. We reflect, catch ourselves doing the wrong thing, cry out to Krishna. If we do this again and again, then sooner or later we'll find ourselves in the next step. We catch ourselves doing the right thing. Yes. Some little daily situation will come by and we realize, oh gee, 2 weeks before I would have reacted differently. I would have really made my comment here and. But now I could just let it go by. It didn't provoke me, it didn't agitate me, you know. So yes, then we can realize, yes, Krishna is actually helping me. Yes. But it's a lot of internal work. But it works. I'm practicing it myself. And yeah. But it's a lot of work. You know, you have to keep at it. Almost every day. So many situations are there where we can catch ourselves doing the wrong thing once we know how envy, thoughts, ego manifest and how they're always pushing us to say and do things which we shouldn't say and do and you know. So it's a lot of internal work, and if we agree to perform this internal work, then we actually make advancement. So to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, it's not an external thing of getting up there on the ladder of hierarchy and all first initiation, second initiation, regional secretary. No, this is just the external thing. The real thing happens internally. Yes, yes. That's the real way of making progress. Okay, I kind of feel it's 9:15. Maybe we should finish. But yes, I will be there on the book table, especially those who already asked me to put books aside. Please get them because my stock is limited. I didn't know that March would come when I sent the books here, so don't leave it to the last day if you want some books. And I will also be during the festival out there on my book table. So if you have any questions, or if you just want to connect personally, I'm making myself available to associate and be there for you. Okay, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaura Premanandi.
Devaki Mataji ki
jai.
I had to
let me go out there to